Alright, so I just went and grabbed some of these little Dubro 1.5" diameter wheels. I like these foam wheels. They're a lot of fun to land with on your outdoor. I fly these in my front yard, so I'll take off and land off my sidewalk. I mean, it's a piece of cake. Or if you have a freshly paved street, it's lots and lots of fun. So what we're gonna grab is we're gonna grab that wire that it came with. It should have been bundled up with your carbon. What we're gonna do. It's kind of tricky, but it's kind of fun too. This isn't a necessary step. If you want to just go straight wheel pants and hover catch it, what you're going to want to do is just make a little bit of an indent there, glue it, and then put a little gusset in between there with foam, and that thing will never come off. But in this case, you're going to have a little bit of fun with landing gear. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab it about 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit more, and just crease it all the way to a 180. And make sure you got two of them going on the same side. So I'll bring this up against the camera once I get it straight here. There we go. Alright, so it should look, wait, not yet. It should look a little bit something like this. You can see this here. That's the way you want it, and then what we're going to do is we're going to end up bending it for the axle right there. You just want a lot of room there for it to grip. So now, let's go back in here and let's take this and bend it to 45. This looks, you want to bend it at this angle here. That looks like a 45 right there. Not quite, but if it's any different, you'll mess with it. We'll mess with it then. Let's bend this to a 45 and clip it. So now, if you can see the way this is done, here's that doubled up area. What we're going to do is we're going to glue it directly like that. And now we've got that little bit of an axle there. It's actually, if you want to do wheels at this point, what you would do is you would cut a little. Here, let me see if I can bring this up closer so you can get a little idea how this is going to be done. So I made a little notch in here, and I'm going to clip off this little extra foam in here. Just so that when I go and put that landing gear piece on, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to wrap it with some of that Kevlar thread and then glue that, or just any other thread. I mean, as long as you have like a little bit of a resin over that fiber. So it's almost like a little homemade fiberglass deal. So you've got that little notch there. Do the same thing on the other side. If you're going, it's probably not a smart idea to go towards yourself. So move that, and you're going to want to clip off just a little bit more of that on the inside. I see that. Well, that could have been bad. So we've got that notch there. I'm just going to fix this up a little bit because I went a little too far. But so now we're going to put that piece. We're not going to put it in that notch, but what we're going to do is we're going to glue it to the leading edge of that carbon, and then we're going to end up using the Kevlar thread to wrap around it. So right over that carbon. Just pull a little bit of glue down on top, and then take it at the top. That's just stupid. Okay, great. So make sure it's 90 degrees to your flight path, because when you land, you don't want it at a bad angle or anything, because then that just becomes a pain when you're landing. So now, I would actually prefer not to use the Kevlar because it's good stuff, and it could be used on your pull. So if you have anything else laying around, use that. I have a little bit more on mine because I knew I was going to be doing this on mine. So, but I mean, just any random sewing thread will work just fine. So what we're going to do is take off just a little bit right there. Get that all ready to go. And that should be good enough. So basically what you want to do is you just want to tack it to a little spot so you can start wrapping it. So start at the end and just tack it there. Let that harden for a second. So now what you're going to do is, now that that's on one spot, you're going to go in there and you're going to wrap around it. tight. Make sure you don't have any slack. Ow. Just as long as you get a basic fibers filler in there, or any kind of thread. As long as you get that fiber going through that resin. It's pretty much just like a little homemade fiberglass setup there. That looks good. Now there's something I've noticed on the Yaks. They actually don't have a full-on landing gear wheel pant. They actually just have a little bit of a, I don't know what they're called, there's a certain word for it, but all this from here to here is missing. So all they've got is that little piece behind it. So what we're going to do is, I might actually just end up gluing it to here just for looks, because it just looks a little bit more scale. But we'll do that in a second. We'll see how it turns out. So let's first put that on there. I've got a little bit of slack on here because at one point on one of my pens I ended up making the holes a bit bigger for something I wanted to do. I don't remember what for, but they've got a little bit bigger diameter, but they work fine if you get them brand new with this wire. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that right over that, and then we're going to grab it like this and bend to 90. There's also another way to do this. If you want to do this like this with that wire, it works just great. I'll pick that up in a sec. If you want to work with that wire, get it to work just fine, then I'd say leave it. But there's also another way that I like to do the landing gear, and I'm actually just going to take that off like that because I'm not liking the way this wheel is looking. It's just not supposed to be like that. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take some more of this 1.2 millimeter rod, because I think, if I remember correctly, this was a perfect diameter for it. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Well, actually, what I'd like to do is go a little bit thicker. I think I have some 1.5 millimeter carbon rod, but when you do this, when you do this little technique, it works fine if you get the wheels stock, because the holes are the shaft holes are perfect size. So, but for me, I'm going to do a certain little carbon trick that I tried out a while before. So I'm going to do that on the next video.